Okay, well, I guess let's go ahead and roll. I don't want to take everybody's time up here and be droning on until, pun intended, by the way, drone on, uh, until God knows when. So we'll call the meeting to order. If I can get somebody to move and second the agenda as presented. Got to move, Dwayne, seconded by Gary. Any opposed? Not seeing or hearing anyone, so that's unanimous. Minutes, they were circulated. Rob had done a great job of getting those out. Went through them all. There was, I think, one minor change on them. And so if I can get a mover and a seconder. Again, Dwayne, seconder. Yep. Okay, and Mikhail, thanks very much. Any opposed? Being done, that's carried. Action item, honorarium. I just wanted to check, Dave. I know you told me before on that operations manual, which is now complete, that we did have budget set aside. And so I just didn't get Jeremy to do anything on an invoice yet. We had said that we would do it for 300, but are we still okay on that? Because that was last year's budget.
Just 1 second. I'll pull it up. I didn't have it up.
Okay. I just don't want to throw you into a tizzy on it if it isn't in there somewhere, but I think you told me there was 500 or 600 earmarked last year, and we should have probably done a carry forward on it for the 300.
What was it for again, Bryce? Sorry.
That's the honorarium for helping build that operations manual to Jeremy Heighton.
Yeah, I think we had that in there.
Yeah, it was in there, but it was in last year, so I don't know if it got carried forward. But I told Jeremy I would get it confirmed before he invoiced us.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it was in last year's budget, but the budget was for this year, right?
Right.
So we haven't finished the year yet. We have 2 weeks. So
okay,
we can do it. Yeah. There's lots of room.
There's lots of room in there. I just didn't want to, send something your way and then you go, what the heck? I didn't know anything about this and it's not in there, but I knew we had the budget for it. So
that's fine.
And he agreed on the 3 and he was fine with it. So it's a 300 flat honorarium. So I will get him to invoice right away on that.
Sure.
And
then he can email the invoice and I'll send out a check.
Perfect.
Need some stuff.
Yeah, that's great. I can get that done. And recognition plaques, as you know, Ed Perzone had put forward that we recognize Lawrence and Rob, who isn't on this call, so that's ideal. So I did go ahead and get some thank you plaques made up for them as well. Mm-hmm. Those will be $20 a piece again, so I'll get that invoice. Todd just did them up. They're actually here in my office, but he hasn't invoiced me yet on them. He just said, just take them. He said, I'll invoice you at some point. Don't sweat it. Okay. So I said, okay, no problem. But so we'll have another 40, I think it was $44 or something all in, the same as what the last 2 were, Dave. Sure. So that'll be coming your way, but we'll hold on those until possibly January. But now my concern with that face-to-face meeting in January is with this Omicron variant and it tightening right down till the end of January. They're saying some of this might lift by mid-January. I'm willing to follow the flow of everybody's thought process, but I'm a little nervous about that in face-to-face.
No, I think we're going to be quite a while before face-to-face is a reasonable alternative.
Okay. So we're all in agreement that we'll stay in a Zoom environment at this point until such times as this thing levels out?
Yeah, hopefully by spring.
Yeah, I'm hoping by spring that we'll be able to do something. I mean, certainly being able to do a field day or something would be a nice way to open things up a little bit. And I know we have to keep those numbers small, but hopefully with any kind of luck. So, okay. Yeah. We will plan for that then. Okay, moving into new business. Dancing Bee had sent that proposal and I forwarded it on to everybody. Does anybody have any comments around that? All these guys they want to sell product. I get it. That's what they're trying to do. But, we're going to do the work, and, we're going to save some shipping, and that's about it. So there's nothing in it for the club. So I wanted it on the agenda to talk about, because I realize it's a great thing to offer. But if Dancing Bee would have put in the proposal that we get 5% of the sales coming back to us for club operations or something, I'd go, hallelujah, there's something in it for us. But, I went back to him and kind of said, well, okay, so we have to coordinate it. Yeah, you have to coordinate it. One central shipping area, you have to distribute it. Well, I can just see that. Bryce makes an order, and, I'm sitting on half the product until September, and it still hasn't been picked up.
Yep.
So I hate to be negative, but I think, it's a bit of a dangerous environment in my mind.
Yeah. Bryce, can you hear me? Ian?
Yeah, sure can. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, I've been involved in bulk order in the past. And I think you're correct. It's a heck of a lot of work. You have to have a couple of people to check the order when it comes in. And then you have to do the pricing and billing out. It's a big job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big job.
Well, I appreciate that support on that, because when I got it, I'm okay when you negotiate something and they kind of lean in and say, oh yeah, well, we'll give you a percentage for coordinating it at the club level. But
right.
When he kept saying, well, no, you're going to do it, and your club is going to save money, and I'm going, well, yeah, that's provided everybody takes the order and there's no problem, and that's in a perfect world. But there's nothing in it for us other than satisfying, and a benefit to our members, and that's good. I don't have a problem with that, but I just don't want to be out on the hook. But at least if you were making 5%, 10%, something off the sales, you got something to work with for those failed orders. But otherwise, it comes right out of the coffers of the club.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
My thoughts on that: you're not getting pushed by the club to do it.
No, it's purely them trying. Yeah, exactly what I thought too. There was one person that mentioned it to me about, we used to do some bulk orders in the past, and it was an email, and I said, we're not doing it. And they just said, okay, that was fine. So
yeah, there were troubles around that bulk ordering too.
Was there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so again, you can't keep everybody happy. And when you're dealing with people's requests to get things, let them do it,
Yeah.
The shipping is a pain in the ass. There's no doubt in my mind. But
yeah,
I think if, as a club, we could all order stuff and get somebody to go and pick it up, and it might be cheaper, but it's
yeah.
still...
And you know what? I think we can do that as a group. Even if the executive says, hey, I'm going down to, whatever, I'm going to be an Urban Bee and, in Richmond next week. You need anything picked up? Great. I'll pick it up for you. You order it, put my name on it for pickup. I'll pick it up at the warehouse. Right. I think that way everybody's money is separate. It's just somebody being good enough to pick it up. I did that with somebody who was down in Vancouver who picked up an order for me, and it was great. They were there anyway. So.
Yeah. Ian speaking.
Yep.
I agree with you 100%. I did a bulk order years ago, and it was a lot of problems. But what has worked for me is calling 2 or 3 people or putting together a small bulk order.
Right.
If I'm bringing in some jars, I can add something. But once you throw it open to the club, then the person who throws it open to the club has to spend a lot of time and probably not saving a lot of money in terms of time.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I think we'll just walk away from it. I'll send them a note, and I'll just say, after reviewing the offer, the executive has made the decision to, step away from a bulk order, allow people to order directly from you. for those.
Yeah, small groups.
Yeah, and we may look at small groups doing it, you know, as a cluster, and I'll just leave it at that.
Unless there's somebody who wants to launch that kind of a project and is prepared to spend a couple or 3 days on making it work. So,
yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of hands going in the air.
No.
So I'm kind of
rather jump in my truck and drive to Edmonton and get it.
exactly.
yeah, that's probably better. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get around that one, and we'll do it very diplomatically and just let them know, just not something the club wants to do. Now, discussion on selling approval on the website. Now, this was brought up. Mikhail asked me about, you know, do we have a policy about people posting on the site with regards to selling or any of those kinds of things? And I said, you know, let's put it on the agenda and talk about it. I don't know, because of course, you know, I wasn't here earlier on in the years when other things were going on. Is it something that has just kind of been left loose, or do we need to tighten it up a little bit? Hi, Joanne. Anybody?
Well, Ian here.
Yeah.
It seems to have, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Since the internet and people are selling on the site. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I should stop at this point.
Personally, I don't think it should be there. I mean, that doesn't prevent us from suggesting, you know, but posting things, you know, for sale. The one I had was, you know, from Ambrosia Bee Fondant, and it ends with "feed your bees their best on the market." So there's also a claim. So that just put me off right away. And
right.
Personally, I don't want to see stuff like that.
No, and I'm in agreement with that. I think, you know, because it does become a reflection of us. They automatically think that we've endorsed it, right? So there is some danger to that. It's, you know, it's really almost you get hacked a little bit and you get used as a feeder program, and that to me is a bit of an issue, because, you know, they're feeding their information, you know, right directly into the club, because they know it's, you know, it's a captive audience. I mean, you know, we're all looking for stuff. I mean, as beekeepers, right? So, you know, some of us make our own, but at any rate, we all need supplies, whether you're making it or you're buying it pre-made. So.
Now, if this was an article talking about fondant and the different fondants and the nutritional things and all that, then it would be something of interest.
Right. That's a fair point. Anybody else weigh in on that conversation? Because we can just literally just pull it down when we get stuff that gets posted and just take it off the site. But
actually, I haven't approved it yet.
Yeah, unless, you know, because to me, unless we approve it as an executive, I don't think it should get posted. Right. What are the thoughts of others?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You're referring to just Facebook.
Yeah, it's getting posted, right? And or it's brought in, and then Mikhail's going, well, you know, who's going to approve this, or do we approve it, or whatever? And I'm going, well, you know what? I mean, if it's me and I need to sell something, I can go onto Facebook Marketplace and I can sell it.
Exactly.
You know, so, and I can tap into whoever is following me. So, you know, there's ways of doing it, but I don't think they should be hijacking our Facebook or our site. I worry about that.
Now, there would have been probably good information though coming spring to see who has nukes available, but I wouldn't particularly want to see just one posting something, but for example, we as a club could say, these are the 10 people that we know of that, you know, potentially have nukes this spring for people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, you know.
You know what? I
Like
think that to me would be, you know,
resource list.
That's a resource list. Yeah. And I would say, you know, the following people have nukes available this spring. You know, for more information, call each individual. You know, numbers and stuff may vary, and costs and all the rest. You know, because I wouldn't even post the price on them, because then it becomes a, you know, a bit of a bidding war right on the site.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would just simply say, these are the people who have them. If you have an interest, call them, because, you know, otherwise what we're going to be doing is it's just going to be, we're going to be beating each other up on pricing. I'll go down $25 because Mikhail's got them at whatever, right? So I'll sell you mine at $25 less, so I get more. I mean, I don't want to see that. That shouldn't.
Yeah, but mine are better.
Well, then they probably are. I can pretty much guarantee it. So yeah, so I think we'll stay away from that, and I think it has to come to us. I didn't see anybody who's arguing that point. So pre-approval before it gets done, and it should be a product list, and it's got to be informational, not just a one singular cell. So, okay. Third item under new business, of course, is going to be the big challenging one, and that is the secretary position, governance, communication chairs, ideas and strategies. I need everybody to help me on this one. I can't do it as a solo guy. I've tried, you know, recruited, it didn't work just because of where they were located.
The thing is, I think we have to be very specific in the sense that if someone takes it on, they can't take it on by themselves.
Right.
They have to have more support, more people actually right away. So they know that they have 3 or 4 people that will assist them right away to post things, to read stuff and all that. So, but they're the ones that so-called in charge, the director of the position.
Right.
Then I think it would be easier just giving them the portfolio and say, here you go. Yeah, and you know, we're trying volunteers, but there is no volunteers available for you, so it's all up to you. Then it's just too much.
Yeah, I agree. But I think what we need to do, though, is collectively, you know, it can't all fall on, you know, board development, poor Gary. It can't fall on just me, you know, because there's enough stuff going on just day to day with emails coming from provincial and everything else that I'm dealing with too. And I'm kind of going, okay, well, I can't take on any more. So I just don't know how we eat this elephant one bite at a time. I don't know what the answer is. You know, if we had face-to-face meetings, I think we'd be in a better position to go around and wrangle a little bit and sit down with somebody and say, hey, have you ever thought about getting involved? And, you know, here's what it is. And, you know, if I can get Alice over there to join you, would that work? And the 2 or 3 of you work on communication, for example, and work with Mikhail and, you know, so on. But being Zoom, it's really difficult to do those breakout style meetings.
It's using, this is Gary, using Zoom or email to recruit is not effective.
No,
it
not
won't
at all.
Work.
No. So I think, you know, from my point of view, governance and communications, we're going to have to do face-to-face. The secretary position worries me because there's nobody even taking notes tonight. We're recording, which is great because we've got a record of the meeting, but we don't even have a recording secretary. Now, I know Rob said he would sit in and continue on until such times as we found somebody, but so I don't know what's happened tonight. But he may have just had commitments tonight, but I didn't hear from him. So I don't know that, but I know he's anxious to step back, and rightfully so. So I did reach out to a couple of new members that have not even really been attending, but I know they've got some office and administrative experience. So I've got a couple of feelers out with a couple of people, but no one that has, you know, held their hand up and said, yeah, I'll do it. But I think if we can all of us that are on, you know, if you're seeing people, you happen to be talking to somebody over the holidays, you know they're a beekeeper, you know they've got a little bit of capacity, and I know, you know, everybody's struggling with capacity, but if we can maybe find out something that way and find somebody, and then let's just keep in touch by email over the holidays and see if we can track somebody down. The secretary one for me is the real key one, because we do need a recording secretary, no doubt about it. We're going to fall off provincially and everything else if we don't have a recording secretary. And, you know, lots of times it gets blended with the treasurer secretary, but I mean, I don't want to lean on Dave too heavy. He's already doing some membership stuff and everything else too. So, you know, I don't want to suggest doing that, because that just piles another, you know, ton of work on Dave, and that's not right either. So does that seem like a strategy?
Yep.
Work on it between now and then. And okay. All right, let's work on that. And then I think the other ones we'll just leave in a vacant situation until such times as we can really recruit in person. Or if you happen to stumble across somebody that would be great. I mean, put him in the mix, but you know, that's highly unlikely, but it may happen. So, so we'll spin into committee reports. Dave, any updates on the final budget? I left it there just to see if you had something that you wanted to run by us.
No, I think, again, at this stage, we don't know. I'm not a crystal ball gazer, but next year is going to be pretty loose, I think, as far as the spring goes. We'll be lucky to get something out in the spring as far as meetings or any type of face-to-face stuff. So all I can think of is that we're going to end up the year at about $13,000.
Okay.
Because I did make that $1,000 donation to the Boone Hodgson Foundation. So that and that's enough for us to get going on the year. You know, we don't have any high overheads right at the moment. The thing that we should be looking at is, are there things that we can do while we're in Zoom that'll work to generate cash flow? One of them is a calendar, and I've been meaning to go over to Overlander Press and see if we can obtain the information that we use to make those calendars.
Right.
They should be on the computer. If that's the case, and we could get them, then that would be a very good starting point to generate a new calendar and by getting at it ahead of time, it just takes the pressure off.
Right.
And it's something that can be done online and through the systems without any contact. So
that's great, Dave.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dave. That's great that you're taking the lead on that. And can I just ask that you maybe keep Nancy and Joanne both in the loop on that, because it it crosses into the fundraising and the events portion. And then that way you don't feel like you're doing 100%, but thank you for taking the initiative to get it moving a little bit anyway.
Well, I was just, it's a thought right at the moment.
Yeah.
It's an idea. And if it is the case, then we have more information to start with and to generate another. I've had,
David,
had at least half a dozen inquiries.
Excuse me for one moment. I've just got a delivery at the front door here. I just got a courier, so bear with me for one moment.
Amazon's your friend.
And Dave, if you do get the files, I can potentially use them on my computer and do the, designing or whatever if need be. Or
yeah, well, it's a huge, we had 3 issues, and it's a huge amount of information that we don't want to lose if we can get hold of it somehow.
Precisely, backup of everything is important.
And then the big thing is to get some halfway decent photos, and the number of photos I see online that most likely you could use is just huge. They're not going away. So,
nope.
So but otherwise, financially, we're in good shape. So I think we're just muddle through as best we can.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Dave. Sorry about that. It was my neighbor that came over. It's their daughter. She's She's 8, and she's bringing me her guinea pig to look after over the holidays.
Well, what a lucky guy.
Yeah,
Just don't eat it.
So I said, yeah. Well, when I was in Chile, I did eat a few, but I won't be eating it here. But I said to May, I said, sweetie, I'm on a meeting. I said, how about in about 30 minutes? I said, you bring Sparkle over, and I said, and I'll get her set up here. So
Sparkle.
Sparkle, yeah. So I call it the Sparkle pig. It comes into my office here, and it sits and talks to me all day. So it's quite funny. Anyways, yeah, that's great. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you taking that initiative. So governance is vacant. Technology, any update there, Mikhail? Anything coming up that you want to
no, I've been trying to reach out to get some volunteers.
Share with the board?
No, let's see here. Is my mic on?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on. Yep.
Okay, yeah, so I tried to reach out to a few people and see if I can get some more volunteers for the Facebook part, at least, just to help, but so far, nothing.
Okay. Well, again, I think we're all going to need to try and help each other a little bit on this. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's technology, board development, whatever. I mean, it's been great, and I appreciate all the work, you guys staying in the positions. It's great, but we do need to broaden this out, because otherwise you feel like, it's 1 against 1,000, right?
And
Mikhail, I can help you with that, Mikhail, a bit too, if you need. Just let me know what you need done.
Yep. I'll send you an email there. And otherwise, I just got my computer back today. It's been on repair for 3 weeks, so I've been otherwise haven't done much.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you're back up and going. And I just again want to say congratulations on your daughter's image on the front of BC, and that was just such a great thing to see. And when I read that article, I just went, "Oh, that's so cool! I didn't even know you'd done it." And with your daughter, and I just thought, wow, that's fantastic. And there it is, front cover, just very, very cool.
Yeah, she's proud of it.
And she should be, and so should you. So congrats on that.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah. So well done. Board development, Gary, anything there? Other than holy shit, we got some holes.
Well, it's the secretary one that's first up.
I agree. We need to get that one. So let's all work on that. Nancy's not online. Joanne, anything specific from your point of view?
Am I on? No, I'm unmuted. Not really. Diane Dunaway, when I spoke to her about a month and a half ago or so, she kind of said, keep your eyes and ears open for that tech transfer program. There's supposed to be like $500,000 there. That not necessarily for fundraising, but instead of fundraising, buy into that. Maybe work as a team and get a proposal put together. She said something that's worked really well is the stereogenetics, where the comb sterilization, she said the cost of the transport, she said that's one thing that their club has done, and a lot of people bought into that and were able to benefit from that. And also queen rearing, she suggested, something a little bit local to have a little group on a queen rearing. That's another thing that's been, she had some really good ideas. And it could partly be fundraising, but it's basically, getting more people in the club involved in educational opportunities. That doesn't matter what their level. I think that there'd be, information there for people to buy into. So I haven't had a chance to read about it or find out too much more other than what was in the BC or the BC magazine. So I'll have to follow that up unless somebody else knows more about it as to when the deadline is for applying for that and stuff like that. So
I don't have any more information. Murray is our regional rep, but I don't know where that stands. There was nobody else that ran, so Murray has been appointed for the region, and that's fine. But he's our guy that really should be working with you, in my mind, on that, because he is connected right directly to the provincial board.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
So
that was, yeah, that
may know
was,
more.
I think, some good advice. Yeah, I'll send Murray an email or a message anyway and see if he's got the updated. I'm sure if I took some time and searched it out, there might be something there, but I'm not sure the dates. I don't know how long we've got and all the rest, but I don't mind looking into that. And other than that, I don't really have anything for fundraising.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate it. Let's just work on it if you can. Connect with Murray, because I know Murray was pretty excited. The one thing he did mention was the tech transfer program when he did his report in the B scene, and talked about that a little bit as well. So there's some things there that might connect. So that's great. So thank you. And Ian, education, anything there? I mean, obviously we need to try and get something for the January meeting, which will now be in a Zoom environment again.
Yes, Bryce, I'll work on Zoom for January.
Perfect. And any ideas on from others to assist? Is winter feeding too soon, too late by the time we're at that meeting in the 3rd week of January?
Well, I would be leaning more towards spring.
Spring, so that we're pre rather than bang on current or behind the curve,
Well,
right?
At -10 or 15, there's not too much we can do right now. So probably in January, it's going to be still winter, cold. And so I think moving ahead, maybe touching on the feeding in February, March. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Maybe that's an idea. I know that you're always trying to say, what's the content, right? Because it's great to go and find somebody, but if you don't get any guidance on content, it's tough. So that's why I just thought I'd lean in to help you a bit. So
yes, exactly, Bryce.
Okay. So let's see what we can find around something like that coming into that, coming off winter, coming into spring feeding and
or spring management. Yeah. Something spring oriented.
Okay. Sounds good, because we'll be in January, and then our next general meeting will then happen in March.
Yeah.
So by March, we're right in it by then, right? So
and I did do some inquiries about the introductory B course.
Right.
And the center where Betty and I have used that for probably 10 years, they don't know what's happening. They cannot, at this point in time, commit to anything. It's all going to depend on the health unit and the provincial government recommendations. So even if we planned and announced a course, it could be shut down. So what I'm thinking of doing is just sending out some tentative information that if everything goes well health-wise, we may be able to offer a course the first or second and third week of March. Right. But with this Omicron virus, everything has changed in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Changed today.
Yeah, changed today, exactly. Because
exactly.
So you know what? I think what you do is no different than we've kind of been playing the dodge the ball program so far, is just simply saying that here's what it is, COVID permitting. And because there's so many things that you see, well, we're doing such and such, COVID permitting.
Right.
Because none of us knows what's going on with this thing. We'll be living with it forever, I'm sure, in some form. It's just how far it gets mutated and how weak it gets. That'll be the thing. At some point, that's what happens to all these things, whether it's a plague or what it is. It gets beaten down enough by morphing and mutating that it finally gets weak enough that our bodies can beat it in return. And it may be very contagious, but it's like a common cold. We get it and we pass it off, right? So we can only hope.
Every year, Betty and I get our flu shots. I'm expecting twice a year now to get my COVID shot.
Yeah.
I've had 3. I've had 2 and the booster. So I'm looking forward to number 4.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's coming. I would not disagree with that. I think it's the only way you keep the efficacy up high enough. It's,
You bet.
But my own doctor told me that after the first one. He said, nothing stays at 94%. He said, I've been a physician for years, and he said, and I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter what it is. He said, mumps, measles, rubella, any of them, they all weaken after time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so,
Good. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I would think it's something we will live with, but hopefully it gets to the point where, you know, we are living with it instead of living under it.
Yeah.
Right now it's ruling. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's great. I think that topic will work well in the spring or in January, I think, for spring. And communications is vacant. We all know we got to work on that.
Right.
Date, time, locations. Obviously, I will be changing this up because this is now going to be for our general meeting will be in a Zoom environment. So this is only for us anyway. So we understand that. But I will adjust that when we get into it. So anybody have anything else they would like to cover off before I go for a motion for adjournment? I want to open it up if anybody had anything.
Well, just in case you close it off too quickly.
I won't close it off without the holiday greetings and all that stuff. We'll be doing that.
Well, oh, Bryce, that's just what I was going to do. Is holiday greetings and
okay, well, go ahead then.
Things and
go ahead.
That so
do all that stuff, and then we can all chime in.
Yeah, but it need not be seasonally appropriate for some people. So everything, all the best. Stay well. Merry Christmas. Good holidays. Thank you, Bryce.
Yeah, absolutely. I concur. I don't think. I'm one of those guys that may not be totally PC, but as far as I'm concerned, I want to wish each and every one of you an absolutely fantastic Christmas and enjoy it. Enjoy what it's meant to be, regardless of your beliefs. I'm a strong believer that Christmas gives us the conduit to enjoy time with friends and family, no matter what your persuasion is. So, you know, whether you celebrate it as a Christian, a non-Christian, an atheist, I don't really care. So from my point of view, I really just believe that it gives us the pipeline to enjoy friends, family, and the happiness of the season. So yes. All the best of that to each and every one of you. Yeah. And here's to a hell of a lot better 2022 than we've had over the last year or two. So
yes.
So
thank you, Bryce. Merry Christmas to everybody too.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody.
All the best. And Gary, you got something?
Yeah, I just sent in an email. Randy Oliver is open to making a presentation to a small group if you want.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Excellent. That's great.
Thank you, Gary. Over. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Anybody else? I'll give everybody just scanning up and down, not seeing anybody. Okay. Based on that, I'll accept a motion for adjournment. Hands up everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much. Mikhail, do you mind forwarding this on to Rob, just so he's got it for reflection? His name is going to be in there. He'll know he's getting a plaque, but that's all good. He's going to know it anyway.
Yeah. And Joanna was having her hand up there.
Oh, Joe, sorry.
Oh, no, just a motion to adjourn.
Oh, you were making the motion to adjourn. Oh, hey, I like it.
No, I was gonna